So, what happens to your home, to your family, or to your business if something were to happen to you? As a resident of Washington State, if you're in the Seattle area, now I'm an estate planning attorney. I'm in the Seattle area. I'm about 20 minutes south. I'm in the Normandy Park area, and I see families facing these questions every day. And so let's talk about what happens and how you can plan for that and protect your family and your loved ones. So I'm Darcel Lobo. I own Dow Law Firm. We help Seattle area families with estate planning, with wills, with trusts and power of attorneys and directives, and really help them have a comprehensive plan in place. I've been in the greater Seattle area. I've been born and raised here. I've been practicing law here for the past 16 years now. Went to Seattle U for college, went to Seattle U for law school. I'm a true local. So let's talk about estate planning, why it matters, and why you want to get this taken care of for your estate. Now, estate planning doesn't need to be complex. And that's, I think, one of the first things I hear from clients is that they think if I don't have a complex estate, and estate seems to mean maybe millions and millions of dollars. That doesn't have to be the case. That can be the case, but it doesn't have to be the case. But it doesn't need to be complex. And I say this because, you may think you don't need an estate plan. If you don't have one, upon your passing, the state of Washington has one for you. And the state of Washington will decide, according to its intestacy laws, what's going to happen. That may or may not be what you actually want. And it usually is not quite what you want. And so again, even if you don't consider yourself to be wealthy, if you have a home, you have a spouse, you have children, you have bank accounts, right? You have any kind of assets at all, you need an estate plan, but it doesn't need to be complex. And we're here to make it easier for you, make sure you understand what your estate plan says, and get one that reflects your actual wishes and what you want for yourself and for your family. So let's talk about some of the tools we use with estate planning. You may or may not need all of these, but let's kind of cover some of these different documents in your estate plan. Let's start with a will. A will is a set of instructions of what you want to have happen. So it says, upon my passing, this person's going to be in charge, and this is who I want everything to go to. So you're going to liquidate my assets, you're going to pay any debts that I have, and then after paying the costs of probate, you are going to make distributions to my heirs in these different amounts. The will outlines what you want to have done. It does not empower anyone to actually make that happen without going through probate. Probate is a court process where the judge oversees the administration of your will, of your estate, according to the terms of your will. So the judge will make sure that what you said is to happen in your will is actually what happens, but in order for it to happen, it has to go through probate. There are some exceptions. Namely, in Washington, we have what's called a small estate affidavit. So if the value of your estate is under $100,000 and you did not own any real estate, then your heirs can probably use a small estate affidavit. Otherwise, they're looking at probate. If you own real estate, they're looking at probate. So that's kind of the first. We started with that one with a will. Let's talk about a trust, a revocable living trust. This is similar to a will in that it outlines what you want to have happen. Who is in charge? Liquidate my assets, pay my debts, make distributions to my heirs. The difference between the will and the revocable living trust is that with the trust, there's no probate. Okay, so whoever you've appointed to be in charge gets to come in and just handle your estate. They're able to liquidate the assets, sell your real estate, close out the bank accounts, pay any bills that you would have had, take care of your taxes for you, take care of all the business that needs to happen, and then make distributions to your heirs according to what your trust says. That is the biggest difference between a will and a trust. A will is going to be less expensive to set up, but there will be probate costs on the back end. A trust is going to be more expensive to set up, but there will not be probate costs on the back end. When you factor in probate costs, the trust is generally going to be less expensive than a will and probate combined. But if you're looking at your upfront initial cost, the will is going to be less expensive. And I include our current pricing guide on the website. We are transparent with our fees. There's no surprise bills for you. So we have a free estate planning guide on our website on the homepage. Make sure you grab that. On our website, we have a tab that says, what does it cost? And I list for you all the fees. We're primarily flat fee at our firm, so you're not having to be billed by the minute if you call or you email us. It's a flat fee to get your estate plan done. We try to keep it simple over here. Now, aside from your will, aside from a trust, we're looking at power of attorneys for healthcare decisions, for financial decisions. Who's going to make those decisions for you while you're still living, but if you are unable to make those decisions for yourself? Let's say something short term, like there's an accident or an injury or an illness, or maybe even long term. We see this commonly with like dementia or Alzheimer's, right? You're still living, but you need someone to make decisions for you. You need someone who can pay your bills for you, pay your mortgage for you, access your bank account. That's where the power of attorney comes in. The power of attorney is only effective while you are still living. Upon you passing, the power of attorney is null and void, and your will or your trust takes over as far as what happens next. Then we also do like directives for your remains. We kind of go over what you would like. And so we help and kind of guide you through what these decisions are. You make the decisions, and we make sure you have an estate plan that reflects what you want, what you need. And so sometimes I see some kind of common mistakes at the firm when I'm talking to clients, or misunderstandings, or what they saw online, what Google said, what their cousin in California told them to do, or what a friend in Georgia told them to do, right? Each state is going to be different. And so you want to take that into account. Also, what you see on Google, there's not a one-size-fits-all answer in regards to what's best for you. So having that consultation with an attorney to discuss you, your family, your estate plan, what you want, what you need, and in relation to actually Washington state law as far as what you can or cannot do, that's where the focus should be. I understand estate planning isn't the cheapest thing to do. There is a cost to it, but we're talking about your home. We're talking about the money that you've invested. We're talking about the assets that you've worked really hard to build and acquire. So let's make sure we protect them for you, for your family, for your loved ones, for the charities you want to provide for, whatever it is that you want for your estate plan. Let's make sure that that actually is what happens. Let's make sure that your wishes are fulfilled with your estate plan. So to kind of a quick recap on some common mistakes that I see, I would say, misunderstanding what a will does and how it works. The will is a set of instructions. It will go through probate, again, unless it's under $100,000 of a value in the estate. If you own real estate, small estate affidavit is not going to work for you. There's going to be a probate. Not updating your estate plan is a big one that I see. So if you did your will 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when your kids were minors and now they're adults, maybe you have grandchildren now, it's probably time to pull out the old will, dust it off, give it a review, and it probably needs some updates. Same with your beneficiaries. If you set up a life insurance policy or a retirement plan or investment account, again, 10, 15, 20 plus years ago, the person you named as beneficiary back then may not be the same person you want as the beneficiary now. So we need to make sure that we are updating our beneficiaries, updating our estate plan as our families change, as the important people in our life change, as our assets change. Your estate plan needs to be changing as well. If you have a revocable living trust, one mistake I see is not funding the trust. So there's 2 steps for a revocable living trust. The first step is create the trust. Second step is fund the trust. We help you with funding your trust when we create the trust for you. We tell you what you need to do. We take care of funding it with your real estate for you. We want to make sure that we set your trust up for success and that it actually works for you. And then also, I guess the last mistake I would share is that I've seen a lot of really bad DIY online templates for wills and power of attorneys, and directives and trusts. And again, I get it. I understand the cost of estate planning. I really do. But also, we're talking about all of your assets that you have, again, worked very hard to build and acquire throughout your life. And so when I see a DIY will from online that wasn't completed correctly, it wasn't executed correctly, it wasn't witnessed correctly, you almost might as well not even have even done that, right? Because it's not going to be valid in many cases. And while a will can seem like, oh, it's just boilerplate, it's a template, there's a lot that has to actually go into knowing what goes in there and how to do so properly. Part of my job is to know what questions to ask you during the consultation to help you consider things that maybe you hadn't thought of. You didn't realize that was an issue. That's my job. That's what I do for you as your attorney. You come to me and tell me what it is that you want, and then I advise you based on what you want, based on what's allowed, how we should do it. I give you other options to consider. I've been doing this for 16 years. I've seen a lot of estate plans. I've seen a lot of estate plans go wrong. I've seen a lot go right. So make sure that if you have not gotten your estate plan done, that you do. One of the best gifts you can leave to your family, to your loved ones, is having an estate plan in place. At a time when a family is grieving the loss of a loved one, the last thing that they need is a bunch of legal problems. So having that estate plan in place so they know exactly what needs to be done, what goes to who, how to do it, that's one of the best things you can do. If you have an estate plan, and you know it needs to be updated, you know there's changes to be made, give us a call, reach out. We're happy to see if we're able to assist you. And if so, we're happy to help you get those updates done, get that estate plan done if you need to get it done. So again, if you're in the Seattle area or really anywhere in Washington, I'm licensed in Washington State, reach out. We'll see if we can help. And if so, I'd be happy to meet with you in person, over phone, on Zoom, whatever is best for you. And we'll make sure we get your estate plan done for you. So hopefully this was helpful. If you like this kind of content, if you're looking to have guidance on your estate planning, make sure you subscribe. We make content about estate planning and probate and real estate on a regular basis here. Make sure you get the free estate planning guide. I'll have our website listed down below. It's on the homepage of our website. You get it for free. You don't need to pay anything. You don't need to give your email address. You can just download it from the website. And then if you want help, reach out. We'd be happy to see if we can help you. All right, I hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.